Hello, my name is Cassandra Pham, and I will be presenting on Autumn Rhythm 30 by Paul Jackson Pollock. Background. Made in a small shack in 1950, Autumn Rhythm 30 would come to be one of Jackson Pollock's most notable paintings and currently resides in the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. Originally named Autumn Rhythm, it was changed to 30 and switched between the two until the Met finally compromised on Autumn Rhythm 30. Form. Autumn Rhythm 30 is an 8 feet 9 inches by 17 feet 3 inches painting, with dots, lines, and various other random paint drips and splatters. When looking at Autumn Rhythm, the audience's focus is directed to the entire painting, as every bit of the surface is equally significant. It doesn't matter if you turn it upside down or reverse the painting or even hang it sideways, it will still give the same encompassing feeling. Elements of Autumn Rhythm 30 have no specific structure, shape, or composition, thus giving it no form. For example, Van Gogh's painting on the left has a specific area where the eye traces to, whereas in Autumn Rhythm, there is no focal point of the painting, as the power of the painting covers the entire canvas, from top to bottom and from left to right. Content. When inspecting the painting closely, you observe parts where the paint has become cracked, shiny, and matte. But if you were to walk back, you would see the curvy lines that drip across the painting with no particular rhyme or reason and seem to never end. Autumn Rhythm represents nature's constant flux, while still not directly representing any objects or subjects from the real world. One theory is that the beige tones represent the tree bark and autumn leaves, the black tones represent the branches being tossed around, and the white splatters with small hints of dark teal represent the autumn wind. This paints a chaotic force of leaves and branches in the fall breeze that constantly move, thus the title, Autumn Rhythm. Another theory is that since Pollock was listening to American jazz music in autumn, he used the colors to represent the different elements of 1950s jazz music, like the intricate rhythms, abstract harmonies, and focus on improv. The size of Autumn Rhythm also contributes to the aura it gives out, as reaching over 17 feet wide, it creates a very encompassing environment and a rush of emotions that is unique to each viewer. Some might find it to be restless and chaotic, with the paint bursting and jumping with life, while others might find the swirling, infinite patterns sweeping across the canvas very calming. Although what is shown really just depends on the viewer's imagination, the one constant is naturistic harmony and chaos. Style. Autumn Rhythm falls in the broader category of abstract expressionism, which originated during the 1940s to 50s in New York. Abstract expressionism is portrayed by emotional expression and spontaneous creativity, and it can be separated into two major categories: color field and action painting, in other words, gesturalism. Color field painting is characterized primarily by a flat solid color that is spread across the canvas, creating a flat picture plane. Action painting, the category Autumn Rhythm is in, is characterized by paint being spontaneously dribbled, splashed, or smeared onto the canvas, rather than being carefully applied. This technique, also known as gesturalism, is a style of painting that has expressive yet energetic brushstrokes that emphasize the free gestures or movement of the artist's hand. In Autumn Rhythm, you can see the dripping lines that show Pollock's circular and sweeping movements, indicating that he is using gesturalism. Similarly, gesturalism is used on Lavender Mist and Echo, two paintings that are part of Jackson Pollock's 1950 series of rhythmic drip paintings. Medium and technique. Autumn Rhythm is a beige canvas with black, tan, white, and spots of muted teal blue enamel. Enamel house paint is an oil-based paint commonly used as a glossy finish for things like outdoor walls or metal surfaces, but definitely not fine art. The use of enamel instead of acrylics or any other typical art medium breaks the tradition of fine art materials and brings a sense of the real world into art. Pollock also played with the consistency of his enamel, making some thicker and some thinner to give texture to the painting. Pollock created Autumn Rhythm by fastening the large, unstressed canvas to the floor and walking around it, dripping, pouring, and flinging the enamel onto the canvas. However, it is important to note that he never directly touched the painting with his tools. As you can see in the photos, he has a very fluid-like motion when painting, and it's almost like a dance. For the actual technique, Pollock used the pouring drip motion, but mentally, he used surrealist automatism. Surrealist automatism is when the artist lets loose and allows themselves to be unconscious when painting. When painting Autumn Rhythm, Pollock allowed himself to eliminate anxiety of self-consciousness. In other words, breaking the barrier between oneself and the world, which led to him reaching a state of harmony. Pollock believed that the unconscious mind was an important force in creating art, and showed this technique in Autumn Rhythm. In Autumn Rhythm, Pollock breaks tradition in almost every aspect. Along with a typical paintbrush, he used sticks, trowels, knives, syringes, and many other unorthodox tools, He would also put down the black enamel before adding lighter colors, a break from traditional painting that would typically have lighter colors on the bottom to layer shades. Pollock does not prime or prepare the canvas in any way. Without gesso or any other priming material, he made sure that the paint would stay inside the actual canvas, creating the uneven and blemished texture. This, along with Pollock never directly touching the canvas, brings a sense of rawness to Autumn Rhythm, as he lets nature take its course and defies tradition in his painting. Pollock created Autumn Rhythm more as an arena to act in, more than a canvas to look at. However, he still considered that he could control the flow of the paint and there was no accident. When painting Autumn Rhythm, Pollock truly abandoned personal power to his artistic process. Creator's point of view. With his revolutionary techniques, it is not specific on what Pollock intends to express. He might be trying to show forces that are moving endlessly, or he might be trying to express a modern feeling with this new style of art. Either way, Jackson Pollock truly viewed painting Autumn Rhythm and other pieces of his 1947 to 52 Port Painting Style collection as a way to let himself reach pure harmony. For the last few centuries, art was mainly based on the level of skill and consciousness put into artwork, but Pollock fully broke this tradition. Autumn Rhythm was a way for Pollock's free self to vent onto the canvas and let his purest form of creativity shine through, all while ignoring the outside influences. Autumn Rhythm was not only one of Pollock's first steps outside of traditional painting, but it popularized and inspired other important abstract expressionists in New York to use gesturalism as a way of getting their art past the government censorship. As mentioned before, Autumn Rhythm was made in a post-World War II period when artists needed a new way to express something more profound, especially with bans on art that talked to politics. Artists like Pollock valued freedom, spontaneity, and personal expression, which produced many artworks that dealt with angst and anxiety, especially during this time period when many controversial topics came up, like the Cold War, atrocities of the Holocaust, trials on the Nazis, and more post-World War II movement. This led to more artworks like Autumn Rhythm diving into abstract expressionism and into something more truthful and surrealist. Pollock led the way for artists into modern art, where he shows purely abstract work and flips traditional art by looking into his own movements and emotional state when painting. His work paved the way for many other important abstract expressionists like William de Kooning, Franz Kline, and Robert Motherwell. Although not creating gesturalism or action painting, Jackson Pollock is credited with popularizing the style and becoming a major figure for modern art. Autumn Rhythm is considered one of the most prominent examples of gesturalism, leading to Pollock's name being bound to the splatter, drip, and pour paint style. This paint style has become a staple in the art community, showing up on foregrounds, the entire painting, or even in the fashion industry. For example, Pollock's art was shown in the 1951 issue of Vogue, where a model showed up the season's gown standing in front of Autumn Rhythm. Since then, his popularized style of action painting has infiltrated runways in many forms, such as shoes, suits, and dresses. Fun fact! Even though Pollock's art pieces were groundbreaking for the time, he drew his rhythmic and energetic style from Thomas Hart Benton, his semi-mentor. When Pollock was still in Benton's art league class in New York City, Benton became sort of a teacher and father figure for Pollock, as he taught Pollock art techniques and frequently let him eat dinner with his family. When Benton left New York, Pollock unraveled into an alcoholic and depressive state. But at the same time, his leaving allowed Pollock to find his own way as an artist, bringing Pollock to study more about the unconscious mind, dreams, and emotions as an influence on his art. This inside world would become the subject of his paintings, like in Autumn Rhythm. Both Benton and Pollock shared the hate of pretentious art and consistently searched to find a deeper meaning. Thank you for listening, and here are my links.